On January 22, 2025, U.S. President Donald Trump announced a full and unconditional pardon for Ross Ulbricht, the founder of the notorious Silk Road dark web marketplace. This decision marks a significant moment in the ongoing debate surrounding digital privacy, government intervention, and the consequences of online crime. Background of Ross Ulbricht and Silk Road. Ross Ulbricht, operating under the alias Dread Pirate Roberts, launched Silk Road in 2011 as a platform for anonymous online transactions, primarily for illegal goods such as drugs. The marketplace was built on the Tor network, which allowed users to conduct transactions without revealing their identities. Silk Road quickly gained notoriety, reportedly facilitating over $200 million in drug sales before its shutdown in 2013. Ulbricht was arrested in a public library in San Francisco during a complex undercover operation. The FBI had been monitoring his activities for some time, piecing together his digital footprint and communications. In 2015, he was convicted of multiple charges, including conspiracy to commit drug trafficking, money laundering, and computer hacking. The court sentenced him to 2 life sentences plus 40 years, a decision that was intended to serve as a deterrent to others. The pardon announcement. In his announcement, Trump expressed that he had communicated with Ulbricht's mother to inform her of the pardon. He criticized the lengthy sentence imposed on Ulbricht, stating that it was an example of government overreach. Trump described Ulbricht's conviction as a manifestation of excessive governmental power and indicated that the harsh sentencing was unjust, particularly in light of the lack of evidence regarding alleged murder-for-hire plots attributed to Ulbricht. Trump's comments reflect a broader libertarian perspective that has gained traction among some political circles, advocating for individual freedoms and skepticism towards government authority in personal matters. Reactions to the pardon. The pardon has sparked a mixed response across the political spectrum. Notably, some conservative voices, including Trump ally Congressman Thomas Massie from Kentucky, publicly supported the decision, thanking Trump for keeping his promise to advocate for Ulbricht's freedom. Libertarians and advocates for criminal justice reform celebrated the pardon as a victory for personal liberties, arguing that Ulbricht's actions were emblematic of a desire for privacy and autonomy in a digital age. In contrast, critics of the pardon argued that it undermines the rule of law and sends a troubling message about accountability for online criminal activity. Some law enforcement officials and victims of drug-related crimes expressed concerns that the decision may encourage similar illegal activities in the future. Broader implications. Ulbricht's case and the subsequent pardon raise significant questions regarding digital privacy, the role of government in regulating online spaces, and the nature of crime in the digital age. Despite Ulbricht's claim that he sought to empower individuals with choices and privacy through his platform, the consequences of Silk Road's operations were profound, contributing to the proliferation of illegal drug trade and associated violence. The Silk Road case has also highlighted the challenges faced by law enforcement in policing the dark web and the complexities of prosecuting individuals for actions taken in encrypted and anonymous environments. Following the closure of Silk Road, several similar platforms emerged, indicating that the underlying issues of online anonymity and illegal trade remain relevant and unresolved. Conclusion. The pardon of Ross Ulbricht by President Trump signifies a pivotal moment in the intersection of technology law and personal freedoms. As society continues to grapple with the implications of digital marketplaces and government oversight, Ulbricht's case serves as a focal point for discussions on privacy rights, individual autonomy, and the consequences of online criminality. The decision reflects not only a personal belief in the necessity of reforming punitive measures but also a strategic political move as Trump positions himself ahead of the 2024 presidential election, appealing to libertarian and conservative voters who advocate for reduced government intervention in personal freedoms. The decision by U.S. President Donald Trump to pardon Ross Ulbricht, the founder of the Silk Road dark web marketplace, raises several counterintuitive points that challenge conventional views on justice, governance, and the intersection of technology and crime. 1. Government overreach versus criminality. typically the narrative surrounding drug-related crimes is one of strict enforcement and punishment. However, Trump's characterization of Ulbricht's conviction as a case of government overreach flips this narrative. It suggests that the state's response to illegal activities, particularly in the realm of digital marketplaces, could be seen as disproportionate. This perspective positions Ulbricht not merely as a criminal but as a victim of an overly aggressive government, challenging the standard view that law enforcement is always justified in its actions. 2. Impact of punishment on crime. The legal system often operates on the belief that harsh penalties will deter future crime. Yet the emergence of new dark web marketplaces following the closure of Silk Road undermines this assumption. Despite Ulbricht's life sentence being intended as a deterrent, it failed to prevent similar platforms from cropping up, suggesting that the strategies used to combat digital crime may be ineffective. This raises questions about the efficacy of punitive measures in the digital age and whether they truly serve their intended purpose. 3. Libertarian support for criminal activity. The support Ulbricht has garnered from libertarian circles is paradoxical. Libertarians typically advocate for minimal government intervention and maximum individual freedom, yet Ulbricht's actions facilitated the illegal drug trade, which contradicts societal norms around legality and morality. This alliance reveals a complex interplay between the desire for personal freedom and the consequences of actions that infringe on the law, suggesting that the philosophical foundations of libertarianism may sometimes conflict with the realities of criminal behavior. 4. Public perception of technology and crime. The Silk Road operated on the dark web, a space often viewed as inherently nefarious. However, Ulbricht's rationale for creating the platform was framed around the ideas of choice, privacy, and empowerment. This counterintuitive argument positions illicit online marketplaces as potential liberators rather than mere criminal enterprises. It invites a re-examination of how society views digital platforms and their role in both promoting freedom and facilitating illegal activities. 5. The role of presidential pardons. Trump's decision to pardon Ulbricht may seem politically motivated, especially with an eye on the upcoming 2024 election and the support of libertarian voters. This opportunistic use of presidential power raises ethical questions about the motivations behind pardons and who deserves clemency. It challenges the notion that pardons should be reserved for the wrongfully convicted or those who have demonstrated rehabilitation, suggesting instead that political expediency can influence decisions that impact justice. 6. Public discourse on privacy and government control. The pardon has reignited debates about privacy rights and the extent of government control over individuals' lives. While some view Ulbricht's actions as harmful, others see them as a stand against encroaching government surveillance and regulation, positioning him as a symbol of the fight for digital privacy. This dichotomy complicates the public discourse around privacy and security in the digital age, revealing that opinions on such matters can diverge significantly based on individual values and beliefs. In summary, Trump's pardon of Ross Ulbricht illustrates a complex interplay of legal, moral, and political considerations that challenge conventional wisdom. It highlights the tensions between government authority and personal freedom, the effectiveness of punitive measures, and the evolving nature of crime and punishment in an increasingly digital society. The pardon of Ross Ulbricht by President Trump has generated significant discourse. But several important aspects of the case and its implications are at risk of being overlooked. Here are key elements that deserve closer examination. 1. Government overreach argument. One of the central themes in Trump's justification for the pardon is the notion of government overreach. This argument resonates particularly within libertarian circles, which argue that Ulbricht's severe punishment exemplifies an excessive government response to nonviolent offenses. The significance here lies in how this narrative can influence public opinion on government surveillance, law enforcement tactics, and criminal justice reform. It highlights an ongoing debate about the balance between individual freedoms and state control, especially in the digital age. 2. The nature of Ulbricht's crimes. While Ulbricht was convicted of serious charges including conspiracy to commit drug trafficking and money laundering, There is a lack of concrete evidence regarding the alleged murders for hire. The absence of proof for these claims raises questions about the fairness of the trial and sentencing. This aspect is often glossed over but is crucial because it underscores potential flaws in the legal proceedings against individuals involved in digital marketplaces. It also reflects broader issues regarding how society treats online crimes compared to traditional crimes. 3. Impact on future digital markets. Ulbricht's case is not just about one individual but represents the broader implications for digital marketplaces and the future of online transactions. Despite the closure of Silk Road, similar platforms have emerged, indicating that the enforcement actions taken against Ulbricht did not deter such activities. This raises critical questions about the effectiveness of punitive measures in addressing online drug trafficking and whether a focus on individual actors rather than systemic issues is ultimately counterproductive. For political calculations, Trump's decision to pardon Ulbricht can be seen as a strategic move to garner support from libertarians and other groups who value digital privacy and personal freedom. This tactical maneuvering in the lead-up to the 2024 presidential election is significant because it highlights how issues of criminal justice and personal liberty can be leveraged for political gain. It also indicates a potential shift in political alliances where traditional conservative values intersect with libertarian ideals, potentially reshaping the Republican base. 5. Public perception of justice. The pardon has sparked a broader conversation about the nature of justice in America, particularly regarding the sentencing of nonviolent offenders. The extremely harsh sentence handed down to Ulbricht, 2 life sentences plus 40 years, has been characterized by some as disproportionate. This raises critical discussions about sentencing reform, the role of rehabilitation versus punishment, and how society views addiction and drug-related offenses. Such discussions are essential as they could lead to changes in legislation affecting many individuals beyond Ulbricht. 6. Cultural symbolism. The Silk Road and its founder have become cultural symbols within the digital rights movement. Ulbricht's assertion that he aimed to provide people with choices and privacy reflects a larger ethos among advocates for digital freedom. His case transcends legal ramifications and taps into a cultural narrative regarding the rights of individuals in the face of increasing digital surveillance and control by governments. Understanding this cultural significance is crucial for grasping the broader implications of the pardon. 7. Reactions from law enforcement and advocacy groups. The pardon has elicited mixed reactions from law enforcement and advocacy groups. Some view it as a dangerous precedent that may undermine efforts to combat drug trafficking and organized crime, while others see it as a necessary correction to an overly harsh legal system. This divergence in perspectives highlights the complexity of drug policy and law enforcement in the digital age and the varied opinions on how best to tackle these issues. 8. Potential for legal precedent. The pardon could set a precedent for future cases involving digital crimes. If Ulbricht's case is viewed as a successful challenge to government overreach, it may embolden others facing similar charges to seek clemency or advocate for changes in how digital crimes are prosecuted. This potential ripple effect is significant for both legal practitioners and policymakers. 9. The role of technology in crime. Ulbricht's use of Bitcoin and the dark web to facilitate illegal activities raises important questions about the intersection of technology and crime. As digital currencies and decentralized platforms continue to evolve, the legal system must adapt to address the unique challenges they present. This aspect is often overshadowed by the immediate narrative of the pardon but is vital for understanding future regulatory and enforcement landscapes. 10. Social justice dimensions. The case touches on broader social justice issues, particularly regarding how marginalized communities are disproportionately affected by drug laws. While Ulbricht's case has garnered significant attention, many individuals serving harsh sentences for similar or lesser offenses remain incarcerated. This disparity calls for a critical examination of how justice is applied in drug-related cases and whether the system adequately addresses underlying social issues. In summary, while the pardon of Ross Ulbricht has sparked considerable discussion, the implications of this event extend far beyond the immediate narrative. Issues of government overreach, the nature of justice, the impact on future digital markets, and the cultural symbolism of Ulbricht's actions represent significant areas that merit deeper exploration. Understanding these dimensions is crucial for anyone seeking to grasp the broader implications of this high-profile case in the context of American legal, political, and social landscapes. 1. Government overreach and criminal justice reform. The pardon of Ross Ulbricht by President Trump has reignited discussions surrounding government overreach in law enforcement and the criminal justice system. Trump's characterization of Ulbricht's conviction as a manifestation of excessive government intervention resonates with libertarian ideals advocating for individual freedoms and privacy rights. This event prompts an in-depth examination of the balance between law enforcement objectives and the rights of individuals, particularly in the context of new technologies and digital marketplaces. 2. Impact on digital privacy and security. Ulbricht's creation of Silk Road highlighted the complexities of digital privacy and security in the age of the Internet. The site's operation on the dark web, primarily using Bitcoin for transactions, raised significant questions about anonymity, security, and the implications for law enforcement. The discussion can delve into the ongoing evolution of dark web marketplaces, the challenges they pose to authorities, and the broader implications for digital privacy rights and cybersecurity in a rapidly changing technological landscape. 3. Political motivations and libertarian support. Trump's decision to pardon Ulbricht appears to be politically motivated, especially considering his previous hints during the Libertarian National Convention aimed at courting voters for the upcoming 2024 presidential election. This aspect opens up an analysis of how political agendas can influence criminal justice decisions and the role of political alliances in shaping public policy. The support Ulbricht has garnered from libertarian circles can also be explored, examining how his case has become a symbol for broader libertarian principles advocating for reduced government interference. 4. Consequences and future of dark web marketplaces. The closure of Silk Road did not eliminate the demand for similar platforms, as evidenced by the emergence of new dark web marketplaces following Ulbricht's arrest. The discussion can focus on the implications of Ulbricht's pardon for future law enforcement efforts and the ongoing cat-and-mouse game between authorities and those operating in the dark web. The analysis can also explore the societal implications, including the normalization of illegal transactions and the potential for further innovation in the realm of digital marketplaces that challenge existing legal frameworks. 1. President Jimmy Carter pardons Vietnam War draft evaders. 1977. In 1977, President Jimmy Carter granted a controversial pardon to individuals who evaded the draft during the Vietnam War. This decision was part of Carter's broader effort to promote national healing and reconciliation following the divisive war. The pardon applied to those who had fled the country, such as to Canada, as well as those who had refused military service on moral or political grounds. Carter's move was met with both praise and criticism, with supporters arguing it was a necessary step toward forgiveness, while opponents accused him of undermining the sacrifices made by those who served. 2. President Bill Clinton pardons Mark Rich. 2001. In one of the most infamous pardons in U.S. history, President Bill Clinton pardoned Mark Rich, a fugitive financier who had been indicted for tax evasion and other financial crimes. Rich's pardon was controversial, sparking accusations of potential corruption, as Rich's ex-wife was a major donor to the Democratic Party. Critics argued that the pardon was a symbol of favoritism and political influence, undermining the rule of law. Supporters claimed that Rich's actions were motivated by his political beliefs regarding sanctions against Iran, and that the pardon was justified given the circumstances of his case. 3. President George W. Bush commutes the sentence of Scooter Libby. 2007. Former Vice President Dick Cheney's chief of staff Scooter Libby was convicted in 2007 for perjury and obstruction of justice related to the investigation of the leaking of a CIA operative's identity. In a move that stirred significant political debate, President George W. Bush commuted Libby's 30-month prison sentence, although he did not fully pardon him. Supporters of the commutation argued that Libby was a scapegoat in a politically charged investigation, while critics maintained that it reflected a disregard for the legal process and accountability. The decision added to the controversies surrounding the Bush administration's handling of intelligence and the Iraq War. The recent pardon of Ross Ulbricht by President Donald Trump has stirred significant debate and speculation about the implications for the future. As the creator of the Silk Road, a dark web marketplace known for facilitating the sale of illegal drugs and other illicit goods, Ulbricht's case has become emblematic of broader issues surrounding government overreach, digital privacy, and the evolving landscape of online commerce. Future outlook and predictions. 1. Increased libertarian influence. Ulbricht's pardon is likely to bolster the libertarian movement within the U.S. political landscape. This could lead to increased advocacy for policies that prioritize personal freedoms and limited government intervention, especially in matters related to digital privacy. As candidates like Trump court libertarian voters, we may see a shift in mainstream political rhetoric towards more lenient stances on issues like drug legalization and digital anonymity. 2. Legal and regulatory reforms. The pardon may ignite discussions around reforming the legal framework governing internet marketplaces and digital currencies. With the rise of decentralized finance, DeFi, and blockchain technologies, there could be calls for clearer regulations that balance consumer protection with the right to privacy and free enterprise. Expect advocacy groups to push for laws that protect developers and entrepreneurs from severe penalties for creating platforms that enable trade even if some activities are illegal. 3. Resurgence of dark web markets. The closure of Silk Road did not eliminate the demand for dark web marketplaces, rather it led to the emergence of new platforms. Ulbricht's pardon could inspire other entrepreneurs to establish similar ventures, potentially leading to a proliferation of dark web markets. Law enforcement may need to adapt their strategies, focusing on blockchain analysis and advanced cyber techniques to combat these evolving threats. For the public sentiment on drug policy, Ulbricht's case is intertwined with the national conversation about drug policy. As public sentiment shifts towards decriminalization and harm reduction strategies, the pardon could act as a catalyst for broader reforms in drug legislation. This might include the legalization of certain substances and the establishment of regulated markets mirroring trends seen in states like Colorado and California. 5. Impact on cybersecurity and digital privacy. The discussions surrounding Ulbricht's pardon will likely underscore the importance of digital privacy rights. As more individuals become aware of the potential for government overreach into their online activities, there may be a growing push for stronger encryption, privacy-focused technologies, and a more robust digital rights framework. This could lead to increased investments in cybersecurity from both the private sector and individuals. 6. Political ramifications for Trump. The pardon could have significant implications for Trump's political future, particularly as he campaigns for the 2024 presidential election. His decision to pardon Ulbricht may resonate with libertarian-leaning voters but could alienate more conservative constituents who view drug trafficking as a serious crime. The balance he strikes may shape his electoral prospects and influence the GOP's stance on similar issues. 7. Legitimization of alternative economies. The Silk Road and its successors have highlighted the potential for alternative economies that operate outside traditional legal frameworks. As the digital economy continues to expand, we may see the emergence of more decentralized platforms that challenge established economic norms. This could lead to a broader acceptance of cryptocurrencies and decentralized exchanges as legitimate avenues for trade, prompting regulatory bodies to reconsider their approaches. 8. Ethical and moral considerations. The case raises ethical questions about accountability and responsibility in the digital age. As technology continues to evolve, society will need to grapple with the moral implications of online anonymity and the extent to which creators of platforms bear responsibility for user actions. This discourse could shape future policies and legal frameworks governing technology and innovation. In conclusion, the pardon of Ross Ulbricht is more than just a legal decision, it is a reflection of ongoing societal debates about freedom, privacy, and the role of government in the digital age. The ramifications of this decision are likely to unfold over the coming years, influencing everything from political alignments to regulatory practices and the evolution of online commerce. The future will hinge on how these discussions are navigated and the extent to which society is willing to embrace or resist the changing landscape of digital interactions.